recording is working. Okay, so I'll do our opening remarks and then we'll get started with the meeting. So welcome to the April 2025 Design Review Committee meeting. Before I call the roll, I wanted to start with introductions of Historic Preservation Program staff for those joining us tonight that haven't met us. My name is Michael Tawney. I'm the Associate Planner for the HPP team, and I'm the liaison with the Historical Affairs and Landmark Review Board. And John, would you like to introduce yourself?
Of course. My name is John McNair. I'm the Historic Preservation Specialist for our program. As part of my job, I conduct regular inspections of Arlington County's local historic districts. If your projects are ultimately approved, you can expect to see me at some point in the process to document what is happening.
Right. So now I'm going to call the roll to confirm that our DRC members are present. Omari Davis.
Here.
Okay. Robert Dudka.
Here.
Alex Foster. Here. And Andy Wenchel is excused. He's to Japan.
Oh, cool. Everybody's in Japan.
Yes, everyone's in Japan. All right. DRC meetings are held in person and streamed simultaneously to allow commissioners, applicants, and the public to attend online. For members of the board joining us virtually this evening, which is nobody, so I'm going to skip that part. For applicants and others joining us this evening, if you lose internet connectivity during the meeting, please reconnect with us via the dial-in phone option. Please keep your devices muted and your video turned off until your item is under review. When called upon to speak, you must unmute yourself by clicking on the microphone icon that is located on the meeting command bar at the top of the window. We do not have the ability to unmute you. If you are dialing in by phone, press *6 to unmute. The meeting chat is active for participants who need technical assistance and should not be used for questions. The public may observe the meetings, but participation in the discussion is limited to applicants and members of the HALRB during this meeting. Public comment is welcome at the HALRB meeting. Information about signing up as a speaker or submitting a public comment for that meeting is available on the HALRB website. And lastly, this is a public forum. Today's meeting will be recorded and posted to the county website. All information associated with today's meeting, whether written or spoken, is subject to the Freedom of Information Act requirements. So with that, we'll move to our first agenda items. Let me share the screen. And we have our lovely applicants here with us. So please feel free to join the table if you want to. Matt, you're also welcome to join. And then,
Okay.
yeah, feel free, please introduce yourselves. You might remember that this is a repeat project.
So I'm Heidi Fitzharris, and
I'm Matchworks owner.
so we submitted for permit, and the zoning came back with a little a hiccup for us that since the right side, which is the west side, since that is less than 10 feet, but 9.9 feet. So therefore, the right side, the east side, needs to be 10 feet because they're saying that the right side is 8 feet at that point. So anyway, so what we propose to do is push in the middle of the addition, as you can see.
Can you explain that? I didn't understand that. I thought unless they've changed it since I was doing things, I thought it was 18 feet and one side it was a minimum of 8. So it ended up most people do 8 and 10.
Correct.
So why, if you have 9.9,
So
why can't you?
Yeah, it tripped me up too. So on the left-hand side, you can see that dash line, and that is the 8-foot dash line. If you can see it right there.
Mhm.
And that's usually when I'm designing, I drew an 8-foot line and a 10-foot line or whatever it is for the zoning area. And then on the other side, I had 10 feet.
Oh, so you
But
need
when-
8.1 on.
No, they're saying because that's at 9.9, it doesn't meet 10 feet. And zoning says that one side has to be a minimum of 10 feet.
Oh, okay. It's
Instead-
10, not the 8 that you have.
Correct.
All
So that's not 10 feet. So then they're like, well, that side has to be 10 feet. So then I pushed the whole addition over, but then they're like, no, but the rear still has to have 10 feet on that side and 8 feet on that side.
We usually wanted one straight wall.
No, I know.
And they said that because then I thought you could switch it, because in the past I have done that, and zoning at that point said it was okay. But now they said, no, the front of the house is at 8 feet. So the back of the house has to be at 8 feet.
But the existing house is at 9.
9.8, and then at the rear of the existing, it's at 9.9.
It's on the beginning.
So we could submit to the BZA, and I'm pretty sure they would grant it to us, but at this point, we
So
want to
that-
just
so
move.
why does the back part have to be?
Yeah, so the back part, because the front of the house is at 8 feet on the left.
Yeah,
They're saying the back of the house, I was proposing to move that over and that be 9 foot and then have the porch come out and that be 8 foot instead. But they said, no, then it won't be in compliance because the front of the house on the left-hand side is at 8 feet.
I
So I just,
Doesn't
I
make
still
sense.
really don't understand it.
but I sent this to him and he said, yes, this is in compliance.
Can you show it, do an elevation?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Let me. So this is the west side,
Which has not changed.
which, yep, which.
Well, I will say because we pushed things into, and it took some space out of the bedroom and the water closet, so we extended it 1 foot
In the back.
in the back.
Right, yep. Okay, and then, so this is the rear elevation. And then this is where we've got, this is gonna be set in a little bit here. And then this is the other part of the rear addition.
So really, it actually pretty much looks the same, except before that middle part was, it
Out.
was re-stepped.
Yeah, like it used to be flush with like this wall right here, right? It used to.
Yeah, it used to be stepped in like 8 inches.
Okay.
So like right now today, this is the, if you want to scroll up,
Uh-huh.
the existing sunroom.
Yeah.
It's really just a glorified patio with a wall. So just because this wall comes down, we can't rebuild it in the same spot.
There's not a
So we have to
foundation
expand
under it.
There's no foundations. It's really just, yeah, just a patio with a wall.
So it's not grandfathered because we're removing it.
Right, okay. And then just the other thing to note, which is very minor, but they're also adding this guardrail here, and I'm assuming, Heidi, that's for code compliance, right?
Correct. I just, when I was doing the DRC stuff, I was just going fast. When I went in for permit, I drew it and then you caught it.
Yeah.
It wasn't there before.
Yeah, and
But we don't want people to fall in.
exactly.
And you're allowed to put the areaway inside the setback?
Yes, areaways can encroach 4 feet
4 feet,
into
okay.
it. Basically, it has to maintain 5 feet off the property line.
Any other questions for this one?
I'm fine with it as you've shown. Out of curiosity, I know that in the past, we've been able to not override setbacks, but make an argument that it preserves historic contextual application to maintain the alignment. It's 0.1 foot. Is that appropriate in this case? Are we allowed to do that?
I think, well, it would be a larger board question. I would
Okay.
say that normally the HLAB is pretty conservative with the use of their setback authority and being
Right.
able to utilize that authority to allow for things of that nature. It's typically used for, it has been used for side elevations before, but it's typically used for more streetscape situations. Yeah.
And also, I'd say in this case, usually we prefer more of a setback from the existing house, which is
Well,
what this
there's
is
that.
accomplishing anyway. So it'd be hard to make the argument that you should do it for historic preservation reasons. So
But it's a really good question because Heidi and I discussed it and
Yeah, very
had thought it as like an option for them to potentially
If
explore.
my house were sideways facing the street, it sounds like the abort.
It's a good question though, Alex.
well, I didn't see I wasn't here for the first
Yeah,
one. but- No, I looked at it.
Alright.
I think this looks just great. I'm having issues with it, so.
Okay,
No concerns here either.
perfect. So then can I go on the consent
Yeah.
agenda?
I would recommend that, yeah.
Be.
Thank you, everyone.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. I'll follow up with an email. Heidi.
Okay, great.
Talk about it.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you both for attending. And for explaining that, Heidi.
We had the same reaction.
Yeah. I understand the first part. I don't understand the second
Zoning,
part.
whenever you get a comment during the permit process, it's like, because like, yeah, there's so many little gray areas and each person can interpret things differently.
Yeah.
But this is
Yeah.
how we interpret it.
Right,
Thank you.
thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Enjoy the rules.
Thank you.
right, so we'll go on to our next
There's some
application.
different signs.
So excited about that. Oh, really excited.
All right, so I will go through and explain this one. Our applicant is Amy Kastner, and I believe she's here with us. Is that you, Amy?
Hello.
Yes, that is me.
Okay, wonderful. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'll go ahead and explain what it is that you're proposing, but feel free to jump in if you've got anything else that you would like to add.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So this is also Maywood. This is for the construction of a shed that will ultimately be used as a greenhouse. Now, normally we staff can approve shed construction in Maywood, but it has to be a certain size. And so because of the sizing of this shed, which is larger than I'm allowed to approve for, it's coming forward to the HALB for review. So this is going to be 140 square feet. I'm allowed to approve 80 square feet or less. So it's a little bit of a bigger shed, but then again, it is going to be used as a greenhouse. It is in the rear yard, and per zoning, because it's going to be set on a concrete slab, it's actually considered an accessory building. And so the setback that you see here would be appropriate for the shed. I should have mentioned that while we were looking at this. So it is in compliance with the shed. Yeah.
Would you be able to share that?
Oh, is it not sharing?
I'm still getting the previous.
Okay, I'll try again. Thanks, John. I'm
Yeah, thanks.
sorry. Sorry, everybody. Bear with me. We had a technical. Can you see that now? All right. Sorry, Amy. Okay.
There's my wine stain.
All right. So you can see it here. This is what the setback would be, which would be compliant with what's in the zoning ordinance. So we're all good there. But let me scroll down to the shed itself. So these are some mock-ups of what it would look like. And then we've got some additional images down here. So the other thing to note, which is very minor, but I'm also not allowed to approve for sheds that have paired windows. And so that's also why it's coming forward, because there's so many windows on each side, but it is a greenhouse. So
Wait, why aren't you allowed to, I mean, not that that has anything to do with
it's
it.
in the design guidelines. Yeah, I'm not sure. It just says that if there are certain types like ribbon windows, paired windows, that has to come forward to the HALB for review of the shed. So
That's interesting.
Yes.
For that one.
All right, I'll keep flipping through here. You can see a bit more of like where the placement of the windows are and everything. But in terms of materials, we've got, it's wood frame. It has LP Smart Panel siding and trim. It's a metal roof, vinyl windows, and a fiberglass door, all of which comply with the design guidelines. So really, it's just about the sizing and about the placement of the windows.
Wait, when did fiberglass and artificial materials become okay with the guidelines
They are okay for sheds.
for sheds?
Yep.
What about the wood grain? Because I know that's something that I know for additions for sure, you're not allowed to do that, but you
Yeah.
can do that on sheds?
So we have previously approved for LP's smart panel siding before, and Amy's going to paint it. So it's gonna have like a finished appearance to it. It'd be painted to match.
I mean,
her
the
house.
embossed wood grain,
Yeah,
like at Hardy Plank, we don't allow
I know what you're talking
Okay.
about. Amy, do you know if the LP, like, does it have like a faux kind of wood finish on the outside, like a textured finish?
You can see it on the.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking at, is looking at the brochure that I sent you. I don't know about the finish on it. It will be painted the same color as the house, but I'm not certain.
Let me look at the design guidelines really quickly just to get a better sense of that, but feel free to ask other questions as you all have them.
That's the only, I have, otherwise I think it looks great.
Okay.
The other thing that I will just point out, in this picture, there is that window above the doorway. The shed that I am proposing will not have the window above the doorway, just around the exterior walls. This was their sample shed.
It does allow for textured wood.
Okay.
Yeah, it says painted, stained, textured, or finished wood, all wood, plywood siding, oriented strand board siding,
Okay.
and a bunch of other things. So it would be allowed.
Okay.
Okay, another consent agenda item.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, Amy, basically what it means to be put on the consent agenda is that at the HALRB meeting, all of those items that are there will just be voted en bloc at the beginning of the meeting. There won't be any discussion about your
Mhm.
project unless somebody
Okay.
decides that they have a question and they want to pull it onto the
Mhm.
discussion agenda. So
Okay.
it's pretty straightforward, but I will follow up with you with an email to talk about when that meeting is, how you can attend, and just next steps in the process. But do you have any questions for us while you're here?
No, thank you. I assume that this is good news, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the board, I don't remember the last time the board took issue with something that was on the consent agenda, so
Yeah,
but
okay.
guarantee, but not
Yeah.
absolute.
Yeah, it's not, yeah.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me and thank you for your attention to this. I appreciate you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Right, and that's
That's
our
it. We're done.
meeting. So thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. We're all done now. So have a great evening. Thank you.